Crypto has been called digital gold, a scam, the future of finance, and a bubble about to burst, sometimes all in the same week. So, what is it really? And why should you care in 2026? To understand crypto, you have to go back to 2008. The global financial system was collapsing. Governments were printing trillions of dollars to bail them out. And in the middle of this chaos, someone, or a group of people, using the name Satoshi Nakamoto, published a 9-page white paper proposing something radical: an electronic peer-to-peer cash system that didn't need banks, didn't need governments, and didn't need trust. So how does crypto actually work without a bank in the middle? The answer is blockchain, a shared, digital ledger that no single person or company controls. Imagine a Google Doc that everyone can see, but nobody can edit without everyone else agreeing. Every transaction gets grouped into a block of data. Each block is chained to the one before it using cryptography, complex math that makes it almost impossible to change past records without breaking the entire. There are over 20,000 cryptocurrencies today, but honestly, most of them fall into just a few key categories. First, you have Bitcoin, digital gold. It's scarce, decentralized, and designed to store value over time. Then there's Ethereum. Think of it as digital oil. It's not just a currency, it's a whole platform where developers can build smart contracts, decentralized apps, and even entire financial systems. Next, stablecoins, like USDC. These are designed to track the US dollar, so you can move money around without those crazy price swings. And then, memecoins. These are highly speculative, driven almost entirely by hype and community energy. Most of them, they'll probably fade away. But every now and then, a few manage to capture the internet's attention.
Let's be real about the risks, because ignoring them, that's how people lose money. First, volatility. Crypto prices can swing 20–30% in a single day. Second, security. If you lose your private keys or get hacked, there's no bank to call, no customer support. Your crypto is gone forever. Third, scams. Fake exchanges, pump and dump schemes, guaranteed returns. They're everywhere. Fourth, regulation. Governments around the world are still trying to figure this out. And fifth, the one people underestimate: psychological risk. FOMO, panic selling, and that emotional roller coaster of watching your portfolio swing wildly. So, where is crypto actually heading in 2026? 3 major trends are shaping what comes next. First, AI and crypto are starting to merge. We're seeing decentralized compute networks, AI agents actually transacting using crypto, and even systems that can verify whether something was created by AI using blockchain. Second, institutional adoption is accelerating. Major asset managers are now offering Bitcoin ETFs. Banks are building on blockchain rails, and governments are exploring their own digital currencies called CBDCs. And third, regulation is finally arriving. The EU has MiCA. The US is debating stablecoin laws, and global standards are slowly starting to take shape. The Wild West phase is coming to an end, and something new is beginning: the infrastructure phase.
All right, quick recap before you go. Crypto actually started as a pretty radical idea to bypass banks after the 2008 financial crisis. It runs on something called blockchain, basically a shared digital ledger that no single person or company controls. Now, there are a lot of different types, from Bitcoin and Ethereum to stablecoins, and even meme coins. But the risks?
They're very real. Volatility, security issues, scams, regulation, and honestly, your own emotions. And now, heading into 2026, we're seeing AI, institutional money, and regulation all starting to reshape the space. So, whether you're just curious, a bit cautious, or ready to dive deeper, the most important thing is to really understand what you're getting into. If this helped you, consider subscribing for more deep dives into tech and finance. And I'm curious, what's one question about crypto you still want answered? Drop it in the comments. So, if you're thinking about buying crypto, here's a simple, beginner-friendly way to get started. First, choose a reputable exchange. Platforms like Coinbase, Kraken, or Binance. And just a heads up, avoid those random platforms promising insane returns. Second, you'll need to verify your identity. That's called KYC. Know your customer. It might feel annoying, but legit platforms require it. Third, fund your account, usually with a bank transfer or a debit card. Fourth, place your first order. And here's the key part. Start small, $20, maybe $50, not your life savings. Fifth, and this is really important, move your crypto to a private wallet. When your crypto sits on an exchange, they control your keys, not you. But a private wallet, like Trust Wallet or a hardware wallet like Ledger, puts you in control. Because at the end of the day, not your keys, not your coins. You've probably heard of Bitcoin mining, but what does it actually mean? At its core, mining is just the process of adding new blocks to the blockchain. Here's where it gets interesting. Miners are basically competing to solve a really complex math puzzle, and the first one to solve it, they get to add the next block and earn a reward in Bitcoin. This system is called proof of work. It's extremely secure, but it also uses a huge amount of electricity. Now, there's another approach. It's called proof of stake, and it's what Ethereum uses today. Instead of miners, you have validators, people who lock up or stake their own crypto. Think of it like putting down a deposit to prove you're playing by the rules. The network then randomly picks one of them to create the next block. It's faster, uses about 99% less energy, and still keeps the network secure. So yeah, different systems, different trade-offs, but they're both trying to solve the same problem. How do you create trust without needing a central authority? But crypto isn't just about buying and selling coins. It's actually created entirely new digital worlds. First, there's DeFi, short for decentralized finance. This lets you lend, borrow, and even earn interest on your crypto without going through a bank. Think of it like a global financial system that anyone can access, no permission needed. Then there are NFTs, non-fungible tokens, basically digital proof of ownership. It could be artwork, collectibles, even in-game items. At one point, some of these sold for millions. Today, most are worth close to nothing. And then there's the metaverse, virtual worlds where people can buy land, attend concerts, and interact as digital avatars. The hype has definitely cooled down, but the core ideas, like digital ownership and interoperability, they're not going anywhere. Just keep this in mind. Most projects fail, so focus on real utility, not just promises. Here's something you really need to know. Scammers love crypto, because once you send it, there's no getting it back. So let's go through the 3 most common traps. Number 1, giveaway scams. You'll see someone pretending to be Elon Musk or another celebrity, saying they'll double your crypto if you send some first. Sounds exciting, right? It's not real. There is no giveaway. Number 2, phishing. You get an email. It looks like it's from your exchange, asking you to verify your account. But that link? It's fake. It steals your login and gives someone else access to your funds. Simple rule: always type the website address yourself. Number 3, rug pulls. A brand new coin shows up, gets hyped all over social media. Everyone piles in, and then suddenly, the creators disappear with all the money. If a project promises guaranteed returns, or the developers are completely anonymous with no real track record, just walk away. Use common sense. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably